Welcome to Let's Talk About Love Stories from Everywhere. I'm your host, Jill L. Ferguson, and today with me is Robert Moore, who sometimes goes by the name of Bob. Um, and he is a musician and a creative person and a software engineer and one of the founders of Joy Punk LLC. And you guys just released your first app.
Yes, that's right. It's been in the App Store for about a month now. Both the app stores. We're in the Android, the Google Play Store, as well as the Apple App Store.
And your app is called KeyJ Music Theory, right?
That's right, exactly.
So,
Yeah.
why a music theory app?
So the story behind KeyJ is really it started out as something I was developing for myself. I've been a musician for a long time. I've been playing guitar. I started with guitar when I was in high school, but I never had any formal training, especially no training in music theory. And so, as an adult now, I've been trying to learn music theory through various ways. I've taken some online courses, read books, and I've used some apps. Um, but I didn't really find an app that worked quite in the way that I wanted to. And especially, I had started collaborating with a friend of mine who's a DJ. Um, DJs, especially when you're dealing with DJs who work with electronic music, they're using these electronic controllers that will calculate something they call a Camelot key based on analyzing the different sound frequencies that are in a song. And that'll tell the DJ this song that you're spinning is in a certain key, this Camelot key, so maybe 8A, and that tells you that another song that is also in 8A or maybe in 8B or 9A, it's an easy way to quickly harmonically mix tracks. So I know that because these numbers are close to each other, I can mix those tracks together and they're not going to clash. But that way of referencing music, I found in working with my DJ friend, it's very different than what a musician would refer to a song in. So a musician might say this song's in A minor or in C major. And there is a way to translate between those two, Camelot key and Western music notation. But I was surprised to find there aren't any apps that really cater to that and working in that way seamlessly between the two. So I developed the app for myself, really, as kind of a crutch, a way to if my friend tells me, "Oh, I'm spinning a song in 8A," then I can quickly know, "Oh, that's A minor," and I know A minor, so I can start playing along. Or the app will also give you additional hints, so it'll tell you these are the notes that make up A minor. These are chords you can use in the key of A minor, and so it not only was a way for me to work in this way with another musician or DJ, but it was a way to try and teach myself that music theory that has kind of eluded me, trying to learn it other ways.
So, why do you think the DJ keys are different than the I hate to use the word normal, but then the traditional
The
ways that
traditional.
we notate music and talk about the key something thing?
Well, really, the reason is, so if I'm a musician and I'm trying to communicate with other musicians, saying something's in C minor or A flat major or whatever does communicate what we really need to know to work together. But when you're a DJ, what you're trying to do is mix tracks that
Mhm.
are similar to each other. So if you mix a track that is in a key that's vastly different from the track you're playing, there's going to be a lot of clash there. It's not going to sound smooth. It's not going to sound harmonic.
Yeah. So,
So
but
this
I'm going to
concept of
play
harmonic
devil's
mixing,
advocate. I'm
yeah,
going to play devil's advocate and say,
absolutely.
but couldn't, shouldn't that separate the really, really good DJs from the average DJs being able to hear that themselves? What's going to sound good together?
Well, okay. So you're right. A really good DJ, a pro DJ, can mix by ear, and that's the way DJs did it before these
Before,
electronic
yeah, yeah.
controllers came along. You'd listen to the track and start another track, and your ear would tell you, do these mix
Hmm.
together well or do they not? Um, so this whole idea of Camelot keys just came along since the advent of these electronic DJ controllers.
Hmm.
Pioneer is really the main manufacturer of DJ controllers, and their software just automatically calculates this Camelot key. It'll also calculate the Western music notation key for you as well. But as a DJ, it's so much simpler. The way Camelot keys are laid out, it's so much simpler to just look at those numbers and you
Hmm.
know immediately whether or not they mix.
I feel like this is just one example of an overarching theme during our lifetime, right? Which is the 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 number of things that have created a frictionless society, right? Have created
Absolutely.
ease for us and lack of challenge, right?
But
We can get, have food delivered 24/7. We can have Amazon deliver pretty much anything in the world, sometimes same day, sometimes same hour, at least
exactly.
in a day or two if you live kind of in the middle of nowhere. Um, yeah, and instead of doing this the old school method, right? We now have a way to do it where the computer helps you and does it for you, right?
And really, what today hasn't been automated for us to some
Yeah,
degree by a computer,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So you're exactly right. It takes away what was kind of an art of doing that harmonic mixing with your ear. Um, but it also enables people to DJ as
yeah,
a hobby instead of as a profession, right?
yeah,
So now I you don't have to have that. And even as a musician, for me, it's a difficult thing to pick out the key of a song by ear.
yeah.
And again, I'm not a professional musician, but I have been playing for the majority of my life. It's not a simple thing to do. So there is something to be said for that whole idea of harmonic mixing through
Yeah,
this easier way of doing it.
yeah. So your app transcends both kinds of
Exactly.
programs, right? And,
Exactly.
and is it geared towards the beginner, or could it be useful to anybody playing music, regardless
So
of their level?
currently, the version of the app that's in the app stores now, it's very limited, and it's really geared more toward the beginner. You dial in the key that you want. It'll show you the chords and notes that are part of that key, and not a lot outside of that. But we have a new version, and it just entered into beta testing in the last few days, that adds a lot of features that make it go from something that'll work for the beginner to something for the intermediate and even in the advanced musicians and DJs. We have a semitone converter feature, which is something that was suggested by one of our beta testers, who's a DJ, that allows him to, if he's, for instance, going to he has a track that's playing, and let's say that's in 12A, which is that Camelot key again.
Mhm.
If he has a vocal that is then in 3B, he can put those two into the app. It'll tell him the number of semitones between them, and he can quickly adjust that so that the vocal is now in tune with the song.
Wow.
Or we have other features, some that are geared to the beginner, which would for instance, show you on a piano or guitar fretboard the notes. So if you don't know yet the instrument, you can then have a quick reference to that. To me, the best new feature that we've added is something that we call the live session, and it's really for it can be for teaching someone, but it's also really geared toward like a live jam session, where say I'm working with my friend who's a DJ, or I'm working with another musician. One of us is the leader of the session, and whatever key we dial in, the other person can have the app running on their phone or laptop or tablet and follow that leader's session. And so when they change key, the app on say I'm the follower, the app on my end automatically updates when they change the key, so I can see the key change coming, and I immediately know whatever mode I'm in. If I'm in, that instrument view mode, or just in the mode where it's showing the notes and chords, it's going to tell me what I can have in mind to start playing against that in just a live jam session.
Well, that's brilliant. So was that another suggestion from your beta testing? And
That absolutely was. Yeah, we got a lot of really great feedback during our first round of beta testing, and we incorporated every suggestion that we got into a new feature in the app.
nice. And so when do you think this next version will be out? And this is the paid version, right? Because you have the free version.
Right. The current version is free and will remain free. So the app is coming out as a premium with a premium upgrade option. So all of the features that are currently available in the free version will still be there. Will still be free. We've added some other new features, which as well are free. And then for certain features, there will be a cost. For instance, this live session feature that I just mentioned, that requires server infrastructure on our back end, and so for that we do charge.
Interesting.
And you were asking when we thought that would be out.
Yeah.
If the last round of beta testing is any guide, I think it'll be out in about a month and a half. I definitely know it'll be out this summer for sure.
Okay.
I would say in probably the early July timeframe.
Okay. Nice.
And if you go to our website, you can join up for the beta test, and you can start using those features.
The website is joypunk.com? Or does it have something
joypunkllc.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you founded this company with friends.
That's right.
That
Yes.
are friends from childhood, maybe, or something, because they don't live here in California like you do.
That's
or I
right.
do.
That's right. Yes. One of my friends who's part of Joy Punk, we've been friends since high school. Another, we were college roommates together, and another yet is my brother-in-law.
Okay.
So, and the rest of the team is all based in Indiana.
Okay. They are all in Indiana. And you're from Indiana originally, right?
That's where I was born and grew up. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did you come up with the name Joy Punk?
So the story behind Joy Punk, as I'm sure you know, it's tough to come up with branding and to name a company. You really want to have intention behind that name, right? You want it to mean something, and so we started putting down ideas, just ideas of what are the values that we want to be behind the company. What do we want the company to represent? Words that came up over and over were community. We want to build community. We want to be part of our community and contribute back to it. And another word that was part of that was joy, in that when as I'm sure you and your listeners can agree, we live in some pretty tough and confusing times. And I think holding on to and lifting up and celebrating those moments of joy that we do have in our lives is a very powerful way to approach that. So joy really, I wanted that to be the first idea that comes out in this. Um, and then the idea of punk, I do have some history in punk rock music, but honestly, that's not the impetus of where this came from. Um, Punk rock has a really more of an ethos behind it that we wanted to embody. Um, and again, community is a big part of that. There's a DIY spirit to the punk movement,
Yeah.
and so that DIY and community spirit is really what we want to embody out of that.
That's wonderful. And so there's four of you in the company?
There's four of us who started the company. We do now have we have a couple of interns working with us as well,
Yay.
and my sister has joined on as well, doing our bookkeeping. So
Nice.
yeah, we're getting a nice little community together.
Well, and you decided to go all in on this yourself, right? Because you had a day job.
I
do-
did, yeah. I
doing
had a
tech.
9 to 5, and
Yeah.
my background is in information technology, and I've been working in that field for 30 some odd years now. And so, yeah, it wasn't exactly an easy decision to make, to leave that and leave that security and stability to form something completely new. Um, but I think it's been so rewarding. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
So
Um,
did you do it as a side hustle for a little while as you eased into the transition, or did you just like decide, no, I'm going to go all in and quit cold turkey? What-
no, I did it as a side hustle in the sense that I started developing the app before I made any decision. I developed a prototype for myself and started using it. And what I realized was that I enjoyed those aspects of developing that application so much that I stopped wanting to go back to my day job. And
Yeah.
so it was a process, but once I made that decision, it was pretty abrupt.
Okay. Yeah. And you have, I believe, not just the music apps, but you have something else you guys are working on.
We do.
You want to
We
talk a little
have
bit about that, or is
we
it
have a
top
couple of
secret?
other projects in the pipeline. One that I think will be out in a similar time frame, maybe to the next version of KeyJ. It may be a little later in the summer, but we're well along in beta testing of that app, and it's really geared more to businesses. It's not in the music field. Um, it's something that we actually needed as a company and didn't see that being offered in the market in the way that we needed it. It's an app really to manage, and I'm sure most people can relate to this. As a company, even as individuals, we have an ever increasing number of subscriptions that we have to manage.
Mhm.
Whether it's our Netflix and whatever, monthly subscriptions, yearly subscriptions, and as a business, it gets to be even more so. And it's difficult to keep track of when does this subscription need to be renewed by or canceled by. And there are plenty of free apps that will do something like that for you, but not something as a business where you can keep track of things by, managing, your different teams within the business and so
Mhm.
on and so forth, not without spending a lot of money on it. So we decided that was really unfilled market, and so we started developing this app, like I said, for our own use, but also to try and help other companies address this same issue.
That's great. When do you think that will be out?
I
This
think
year?
it will be out this year. I think we're maybe a couple of months away
Okay.
on that app. But if you keep track of our website, we'll be having some information out about it very soon on the website.
Okay. And you're creating a game, I believe, at some point in the future?
That's right, and that's really an early development. I mentioned my brother-in-law is part of the team. He's an avid gamer, and he's a great graphic designer, and he really wants to do a game. So we're like, well, bring it. Let's do one. So he's been working up the ideas for it, as well as um, developing animations and so forth to really seed the design and development of the game. That's still very much in early stages. So there's not much there to talk about concrete, but it's exciting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to work
Nice.
with them to develop this game.
Well, and you can see your joy as you talk about this, that you like creating the apps and, doing the coding for them. And
Yeah, the creative process is really, to me, it's very inspiring. That whole process of building something that didn't exist before, taking it from an idea to something real. Um, it's challenging and interesting, and yeah, I do have a lot of joy in that.
that's wonderful. And so one of the other things I know that has brought you some joy, but was also a lot of work, right? Is you and your wife have an electronic music duo, if you will, right?
Yes, that's right.
Called Blue Moon Rave.
Yes,
And you put together a music video not that long ago with her photography.
that's right.
And you did the modification of the photography to create it into the video itself, plus you created all
Yes.
original music, I think, for it?
That's right. So the song I had been working on for quite a while. Actually, it's one of those things. For me anyway. When I'm starting an artistic project, I don't really have. I've not been good at setting boundaries on when is this going to be. When am I going to call this done?
Mhm.
And so it was an ever evolving song that I eventually decided I need to finish this and put it out. And my wife is a photographer, and she has a vast library of photo shoots that she's done. A lot of them that we've done together, and she really was the inspiration for the song as well. The song incorporates some of the styles of some of our favorite artists together, Daft Punk, Hot Chip, um, this kind of electronic, very heavily synthesized music. And so I took photo shoots that she had done, and we worked on the production of the song together, but then we also worked together to decide, okay, what are the different photo shoots that would look good in here. And I developed it's called a GSL shader. It's a if you think about, for instance, on Instagram, you have these filters that you can apply to your photographs. I developed a filter, if you will, for this VJ software that I've played around with in the past. So it gives kind of like a cartoon look to the photos that have been animated together. And so that was the process that we kind of went through to develop the video that you're talking about. Yeah.
Is the filter going to be something you're going to make commercially available to other people, or is it
I don't really have
freeware, or
any
no?
intent to do that. I may release it as an open source,
Yeah.
something that, for free that people can download and use.
Yeah.
Um, there, there are so there are plenty of filters that will do cartoon like effects, but this one is specifically, the others that I tried to use add a lot of kind of black speckling that I didn't really like in the video. So that was the reason for developing my own.
Right.
Um, they didn't quite have the aesthetic that I wanted. So I developed this to get that right aesthetic for the video.
Well, what I found watching the video, which is like about 5 minutes long, maybe
Mhm.
give or take a few minutes or a few seconds, but was that it's hard to watch it and not feel happy. And
Well,
it wasn't just because I've met your wife, I know
sure.
you. But it just there was there's all these costume changes that you guys have, and there's all this, and you can tell in the video how much you guys love each other and the joy that you have interacting with each other. But even the song itself and everything just felt so like, oh my gosh, this is just it's adorable, and it's moving, and it just was like, this is so awesome, and I couldn't wait for another one. And I know you said this one took a long time to put together, but yeah.
Well, and my hope is that eventually we will do another one. We we've talked a little bit about another song, but as of yet, there's nothing really in the works. But yeah, so it's that theme again, joy, right? I mean, I think even before starting up the company, that intention of joy has been there. In that, I mentioned having a background in punk music and noise rock and some other genres. um, I really want to, both with art and with the work that I'm doing, I want to put joy back out into the world. That is a very intentional thing, and so that's part of the reason why the song sounds joyous. And you're right. I mean, we are very much in love, and I knew that was going to come through in the video, but you really do see it, um,
And it,
in watching. Yeah.
well, and that's awesome in its own thing, because I think, did you guys just celebrate like a 10th wedding anniversary or something recently? Or a year
No,
ago,
we're
2 years
coming
ago?
up
How many
on
years?
our sixth anniversary.
Sixth. Oh, I was thinking it was longer than that. Okay.
Yeah.
I know your anniversary is near Halloween, because occasionally
It,
we run into each other during a Halloween party, and
we
you're on your
actually
way to
were married
dinner.
on Halloween.
Why did you choose Halloween to get married?
Well, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about we love you were mentioning the costumes. We
Mhm.
love to get dressed up and be silly together. And we thought that having a wedding anniversary on Halloween would always guarantee there's going to be a party. There's always going to be a celebration around it, whether we're throwing it or whether someone else is throwing it. And we're going to get to dress up and have fun. So it just seemed like the right time to do it.
How did you guys meet?
We met many years before we got married. We were friends. Um, we met here so we live in Long Beach, and we met here in Long Beach, just through a mutual friend, and kept in contact over many years. And funny enough, I don't know if you're aware of the app Bumble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh, we had both recently started trying to date on that app, and I was swiping through that app, and I saw that she was on there. And so I didn't even bother with the app. I just immediately messaged her and said, "Hey, let's go out for a drink," and the rest is history.
I love it. Well, what brought you from being from Indiana? What brought you to California in the first place?
So while I was in Indiana, I had moved away one other time, I wound up coming back to Indiana because of some sickness in my family. I decided it was good to move back, and I think I had always been secretly searching for where to move to again. Um, and I remember there was a one specific winter in Indiana where over the course of several days, there was maybe 6 inches of snow, followed by a couple inches of freezing rain. The next day, another 4 inches of snow, another freezing rain following that, and so there literally was an ice rink everywhere. You couldn't leave your house for days on end, and I remember during that time of just being stir crazy, booking a trip out to California to visit. I actually was visiting a friend who lived in the Bay Area, and I booked a trip to California because I wanted the heck out of Indiana right then. And I came out here, came originally to the Bay Area, and I booked a trip down to Long Beach. I wanted to go diving out in Catalina Island, so I came down for that, and I just fell in love with Long Beach. And I came back from that trip, and I went to my boss immediately, and I said, "Hey, I'm moving to Long Beach. So I like working for you. If you can make it work out to where I'm remote, then I'll keep working for you."
What
And
year was this approximately?
that was 2011.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And he came back to me within a couple hours and said, "Yep, it's all worked out. You're set." So
Awesome.
I moved to Long Beach later that fall. So October of 2011 was when I moved out here.
Okay. Yeah. And you haven't looked back since?
I
You
haven't looked
wanted to
I
leave?
absolutely love this town.
Yeah.
It's such a cool place to live. Um, we never have to worry about skating rinks of ice. Um, it's beautiful and diverse, and yeah, I really love this place.
Yeah. There's a it's interesting because when people get here, right, even though there's the problems that are with any major city, right, or bigger city, um, the people are drawn here and feel very passionate about it usually.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and one thing I didn't expect, being a musician, and that was one way I started making friends out here as I got involved in the music community. But there really is a strong music and arts community
Yeah.
in Long Beach. And that's just been amazing.
Well, and I believe you were in a band that was pretty active playing on the West Coast
That's
for a
right.
while, right?
We played around Long Beach and LA a lot. We toured the West Coast 2 or 3 times, I think. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Nice.
It was a lot of fun,
How many years did you do that, or was it a shorter period of time?
that was 6 or 7 years, I want to say.
Okay. What was the name of the band?
We were called Sterile Jets.
Okay. Interesting.
And
Mm.
again, punk and noise
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, we released a
Well, and
couple.
there's been a big aerospace industry here for the jets part, but
Oh, sure,
that's probably not what you were referring to, though.
yeah. I joined the band actually after they had already been together. They were looking for a guitar player,
Oh, okay.
and so
Yeah.
I joined, and they already had the name. I wanted to suggest a different one, but I didn't really feel I had veto power.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite experience from being part of that band and touring?
just all the friends that I made. The guys in the band, we're still friends to this day, and then we made so many great friends in Long Beach, in the LA area, all up and down the coast. Yeah, just friendships.
That's wonderful. And are they still touring or no? Or
No,
did the
no.
band break up?
The band actually broke up because our drummer moved away, and we decided to call it quits. The bass player who formed the band, he's in a couple of other bands here locally. I actually sit in with one of his bands occasionally. Um, well, so they're called Plastic Horseshoes. they're kind of like improvisational band, right? They don't have any set songs. They just get on stage and jam together and work it out all in the moment.
Wow.
And so I do sit in with them sometimes, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
That's
their singer frontman is a good friend, and he's just such a joy to watch on stage. He's hilarious.
Well, and that's funny because that sounds kind of like if you're going to jam together with all these other people and figuring the stuff out on the fly, it almost sounds like that's parts of it, your app would be really good for that.
You know, it's all synergistic, right? I mean,
Yeah.
nothing happens in a vacuum. So
Yeah.
all of the different experiences I had informed that I need this app.
Yeah.
This app could be useful in so many ways for me. And as you know, as I started talking with other people, and I realized this could be useful for other people too.
Yeah.
And I hope so anyway.
That's amazing. I like that. So, what other things are you passionate about? Love. I know you. So you play guitar. You play bass. I believe you said,
That's right.
and you got a keyboard behind you.
I've been teaching
Beautiful red one.
myself piano and keyboard.
Yeah.
I mean, I say, I've written songs on piano and keyboard, but I don't know the instrument well. So that's something that I've been trying to learn. The keyboard that I have is also a sampler, so I use that in music production. It's got a drum machine built in. So yeah, all of that is stuff that over the since I left Sterile Jets, those are things that I've been trying to teach myself to, not having a band around to jam with.
Mhm.
How much can I do on my own?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you may be going to music night on Tuesdays with one of the neighbors.
I,
So,
I actually am going tonight. Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. And you can can talk to George because George is from Indiana. Also.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, we'll have something to bond on. This
Yeah.
evening.
What other kinds of things are you passionate about? Do you love bring you joy?
um, you know, music and computers have always been one and two. Um, Nature, though. And my wife and I are both really passionate about nature. Where we have a road trip planned this summer where we're going to go up to Big Sur and the redwoods and maybe Crater Lake, and just um, you know go up north and take in as much nature as we can. Go
Yeah.
camping and hiking. Um, as you know, we have so much beautiful nature around us in California. It's a great place for all of that.
Do you still dive?
I do well. So I still have my dive gear.
Okay.
I've not been diving in a while.
Uh-huh.
I actually was recently looking, and the Aquarium of the Pacific has some volunteer spots where they have divers come in and
Oh yeah.
feed fish and clean the tanks.
Uh-huh.
I think something like that I would love to do that.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for one of those positions to open up and go down there and try and get in to do that.
That would be wonderful. One of the things that people who don't live in California don't understand often is that if you're going to be a diver and you're local, you have to be really committed to diving because the water here is so cold all the time.
I mentioned that trip where I came out to dive and I wound up
Yeah.
deciding I was going to move here. I did that in spite of getting hypothermia while
Yeah.
diving out in Catalina.
Yeah.
It's
The Pacific Ocean's no
It is
joke when
so
it comes
cold.
to yeah.
I mean, you think Southern
Yeah.
California, you think it's
No.
the water's warm, and it's
Yeah.
never warm.
Yeah.
At best, it's not freezing,
I
but
yeah. I started taking dive certification courses and when I lived up in the Bay Area, and we got through like the classroom part and the pool part, but then the open dive they do down in Monterey where there's zero visibility because of all the kelp forests
yeah.
and it is so cold in that water, and so then they started creating like this cooperative program with a school in Hawaii because they were like,
Oh,
you can go dive there and you don't need a wetsuit. But
yeah,
but
that would be
that's
way better.
yeah, it's just people don't think. I mean, they see the surfers out there surfing and stuff, and not all of them wear wetsuits, but it's like 95% of the year the ocean's too cold to be in it without a wetsuit.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, with my limited knowledge of the water out here, I thought I'd
Yeah,
be fine just in a wetsuit.
yeah,
My dive buddy had a dry suit on,
yeah,
and I wish I had. That was
yeah.
2 days stuck in a hotel, just shivering constantly.
Oh no.
Not what you want to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
But
No.
you mentioned your checkout dives. I did mine in a gravel quarry in Indiana, so I don't know that that's any
Oh,
better.
that's not anybody. And I'm guessing the visibility was kind of nil too. Yeah.
There's no visibility, but you wouldn't want there to be anyway
No.
because it's just an empty gravel quarry.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. That just brings me to, it's an amazing what people do to get through situations to get to something that they love doing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just so no more diving much around here.
No, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I decided not to dive around here anymore unless I did, do get a dry suit, but it just hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I do want to get back into it, especially as I mentioned. I think that would be great to be down at the aquarium,
Mhm.
um, just get in the tanks there with
Yeah.
all the sea life.
That would be fabulous because yeah, it's warmer.
Yeah, exactly. The water's going to
Yeah.
be warmer
It's kind of, and it's a very clear environment. You can certainly see everything.
for sure.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's one of the benefits of living here, I guess, close
right.
to the aquarium. Yeah. Anything else you'd like our viewers to know? If you could give us, so the URL again is Joy Punk LLC. The app is called KeyJ, as in the letter of the alphabet,
Right.
um, Music Theory.
And I do have as well. I have a link tree, so that's got that has links to the Joy Punk website, but it's also got the video that you mentioned, the
So we can
artist
drop that into
video.
our show notes easily. Yeah.
Oh, great! Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's linktr.ee/rbmoore.
Oh, so kind of your name.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can send that to you as well if you want to drop
Yeah.
that
We
in
can
the
add those
show notes. That would be great.
to notes. Yeah. Yeah. And again, the YouTube video and the name of your duo is Blue Moon Rave.
Blue Moon Rave.
Became a tongue twister. And it's definitely worth checking out, as is seeing what your next apps are coming out. So thank you so much for being on the show today. I
Oh, thank you
appreciate it.
so much for having me. It was a
Yeah,
pleasure to be here.
yeah. Well, I'm excited about your new company, and I look forward to seeing what happens with it in the future.
Ah, thank you, Jill.
Thank you.